Right, now then, we're back to this Czech hospital. This comes from Ostrava, 6 killed Czech hospital shooting gunman at large. Okay, now then, this is at 1 minute 34, the rest of it's just waffling. But this is an interesting part.
Unfolded actually at the hospital. There have also been different reports about which part of the hospital. What do we know for sure?
So you don't know where bodies are lying in a particular part of hospital. As we've seen in other footage, people are just walking out. Just daily walking out, just doing the daily thing. Therefore telling us that nothing's gone on.
We know for sure that this was not an employee. This was a guy who entered the hospital.
Hold on, how do you know he's not an employee at this time? A hospital is a big place. You don't know the name of the person. How do you know he's not an employee?
With the gun and with the...
Sorry, let's go back one. So, you can't say he wasn't an employee, or even an ex-employee. Do you know, they can't get... Whoever scripts this pigging lot needs to be fired.
The hospital with the gun and with a concealed gun, apparently.
Sorry, let's go really back to there.
That this was not an employee. This was a guy who entered the hospital with the gun and with a...
So, he could rip your pigging hair out. He wasn't an employee because he entered the hospital. Well, how the hell do you get doctors and nurses into the hospital? They enter the hospital. Give me strength. So none of the doctors and nurses and the porters and the kitchen staff are employed by the hospital.
For sure.
We know for sure that this was not an employee. This was a guy who entered the hospital with the gun and with a concealed gun, apparently.
He checked himself there because he realised that when he was, he realised that he couldn't have just walked into a hospital with a gun in his hand. And let's face it. Come on. If this was true, okay, come on. Let's get to common sense. Come on, let's continue with common sense. All right, real life situation. A man goes in. Okay. They definitely know that he's not an employee or an ex-employee because he's just walked into the building. Okay. If somebody who was mentally unstable is walking into a hospital with a gun, would he not shoot the first persons that he met? Of course he would. Unless he had an agenda. But what would that agenda be? Shooting people in a waiting room. But there's waiting rooms before waiting rooms. So did he go in and shoot the people in the main area, which is a waiting room in itself, in the entrance? No, he went on further on into the hospital, to the trauma ward, according to other news outlets, to the trauma ward waiting room. And secondly, please tell me, come on, where's the CCTV footage? I don't know. There isn't any. So we're relying upon the word of a corrupt media and a corrupt government. There is no evidence. There's no evidence from the footage that we're given that this occurred. There's no evidence. The people coming out evidently never saw anything. They're just walking out and walking in. There's business as usual. There's a load of police doing nothing outside. Probably doing, well, they won't be doing anything inside because there's nothing going on. Do you know, ladies and gentlemen, all this money spent on CCTV cameras, not one of them is pigging recording anything at any time. Eh? Do you ever think for one moment to ask, in all these so-called breaking news events, where's the CCTV footage? Do you know, in Britain, in England, okay, in England, we have these terrorist events and we have more cameras than silly buggers. You can't move without the camera. I go out this house, there's a frigging camera up there. I go to the bottom of the road and there's a frigging camera. As I turn the corner at the bottom of the road, there's a sodding camera filming me. As I go down the passageway, the ginnel, and come out the other side, there's a sodding 2 cameras. As I cross over, the cameras are still on me. As I go up the steps to the main shopping area, I meet with cameras. England is full of cameras. Everywhere you go into the shops, cameras. You can't move without a camera. And yet in all the stabbing events, there's no camera footage. There's no cameras working. Why? Because the events are just stories that are being told. There's no camera footage here. There isn't any. None whatsoever.
And then he just entered one of the waiting rooms inside of the hospitals and killed people from the very short distance. He actually pointed the gun towards their head or neck and shooted them one after another.
So he went through the hospital to a specific waiting room rather than open fire as he went into the hospital.
And then he left. That's what we know so far, and as I told you, we don't know about the motivation, but according to the police sources, it might look that this was a local guy. This was not like an international terrorist or anything like in that sense.
Teodor Marjanovic there, a journalist at Czech TV, speaking to us on the phone from Prague. We'll be bringing you more.
Right. We need to ask our questions, you know. We need to ask common sense questions. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we are being played left, right and centre. And the more that we are believing these stories, the more stories come out. And it's regrettable that the Czech Republic has now begun to follow England, USA, Germany, France, Belgium, Turkey in putting out these clearly fake news stories that the government has paid some organisation to create. For what purpose? Only they can tell us. Do you know, the sad thing about it is, it's telling us what the government of this particular country, as with other governments, think about us. Isn't it? They're telling us that we are morons. We're stupid. We'll believe anything that they put out. They abuse our trust. That's what they're doing. Abusing our trust. You know, it's very natural for us. And why not? Because it is natural. That when the media says something's gone on, we don't question it. Because we trust the media to tell us the truth. That's what it's there for. It's independent of everything. It just is there to tell us news, north, east, west and south. Okay? World news and local news. Why should they lie? Why should they join hands with their government to deceive us? What would be the purpose? Sad, isn't it? It's a sad situation. It's a sad day we're living in. That this is being done to us. That the media is being made the tool of deception. It really does show what governments think of their people and people in general. That they're lacking in brains. They're abusing our trust. They hold us in disdain. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to go into any further into this Czech Republic hospital. The show of disdain continues on, doesn't it? With government and with the media. The people will buy into anything because the people trust us. I have no faith in the media. I've never had any faith in government. But media has come to the lowest of the low. The lowest of the low.